Welcome, everybody. This is John Miller, a founding let's try that again. Welcome, everybody. This is John Miller, founding attorney with Rock Solid Law. And today we are here for our weekly webinar to talk about fraud in real estate transactions and some of what we have tried, are trying to do about it. And I hope that this is helpful to you in advising your clients and customers and in avoiding fraud issues in your real estate transactions. So, folks, cyber fraud is real. Of course, banks, lending institutions are major targets, but so are entities that hold escrows for real estate transactions, which obviously includes realty firms, brokerages, and title attorneys, title companies. Anybody that is sending and receiving large volume of money, funds, is a potential target for these fraudsters. I have attended several FBI briefings in this regard on cyber fraud. It's quite frightening to sit and listen to what they have to say and the way that organized fraudsters are targeting the title and real estate industries. These are people that literally go to work every day of the week like other people go to work. And what they're doing all day is out there phishing and scamming and trying to steal information and email addresses so that they can commit fraud. Apparently, it's profitable enough that they choose to expend that much energy not with a real occupation. So I did pull one article for you. I think it's a little bit astounding. The title is WTF, $221 million were lost to wire transfer fraud in 2019. That's in real estate matters, okay? This is an FBI Internet Crime Report. There are 11,677 victims, and that is up 377 from the year before, but it's up from 150 million to 221 million. So 71 million more in losses in 2019. We don't know what 2020 is going to hold yet. So you guys know the Alta settlement statement. Well, Alta's CEO, chief executive, said no matter how much money we spend, criminals will continue to target consumers. That's why we must continue to educate people about how they can protect their money when purchasing a home or refinancing a mortgage. And that's what we're here to do in the next little bit of time, educate people. Wire fraud is one of the biggest battles real estate industry has ever faced. According to the FBI, only 15% of wire fraud incidents are recorded. So if those sums are only 15% of the total, imagine how much money is being stolen through wire fraud every year. They receive, in 2019, the FBI received over 467,000 complaints. That's 1,300 a day. So this is something that's literally going on all the time. With regard to phishing and similar ploys, the criminals are getting very sophisticated. And email is still a common entry point. So please be very skeptical and double check everything. You'll notice on your email from Rock Solid Law that in red letters above our signature, it says to always call to confirm wire instructions. This is so important. Make sure you're doing that in every transaction. One thing that is proposed that may help is payee matching requirements. We at Rock Solid Law hope we'll see that in the future. Can you believe that the payee is not matched? In other words, it can go to an account that doesn't even have the payee on the transfer. And that's how these guys get away with so much theft. So initially, after I went and listened to the FBI, we adopted internal controls and procedures that were intended to thwart the fraudulent cyber attacks. This is what the FBI had recommended. However, a couple of years ago, a former manager of my closing department independently elected not to follow those procedures. And the firm suffered a 5-figure loss that we personally funded to be sure that no customer or client ever suffered a loss. That, my friends, made me serious about this issue. So since that time, in addition to keeping those policies, systems, and procedures in effect here at Rock Solid Law, Rock Solid Title, we've adopted and implemented the Safe Escrow service system for all real estate closings. And we were one of the first, if not the first, in all of Northeast Florida to adopt this. What this means to realtors is that they never, ever have to worry about wire fraud in our transactions as far as the funds going out to the wrong party. So the only place that we have to worry about cyber fraud is getting the funds in from your clients, from the buyer, from the mortgage lender, so that they can properly be dispersed. So what does this mean? Our realtors never need to worry about compliance issues with your closing or with any post-funding issues. The money is going to be there due to Safe Escrow. So you never need to worry about your commission check, and you never need to worry about your seller's funds being diverted to an offshore or domestic fraudster. Thankfully, due to the internal controls and procedures we put in place and an alert client, we were recently able to stop a $2 million fraud attempt. In fact, in total, we have stopped, thwarted well over $3 million in phishing scams, fraud attempts. And I can tell you that I'm intimately familiar, because it happened to a client of mine, that another very reputable title company fell victim to a similar phishing scam. The client was initially out $40,000 before insurance paid the difference after a period of time. So please let that cautionary tale be exactly that. Remember to always be vigilant, and always communicate with the title company, especially with respect to the wire instructions. Never email wire instructions, right? They should be an attachment, and they should be incomplete and voice verified. I want to tell you a little bit about Safe Escrow. They utilize a centralized management system that's coordinated with us at Rock Solid Title and Law, which is set up specifically to frustrate even sophisticated, organized fraud conspirators. Some of the frog, I knew I was going to say frog. Some of the fraud prevention techniques are trade secrets, but they actually own the bank that distributes the closing funds. When we wire out funds, there is a double check that a phone call actually goes to the recipient, who verifies that they are expecting the funds. Wire fraud is non-existent in Safe Escrow transactions because of an extra layer of payee authentication and proprietary SES technology. Cyber management, validation of payoff accounts prior to wires being released, I referenced that one a minute ago, and industry-leading security and SOC Type 2 certified controls, which is the most comprehensive certification, providing a system that is designed to keep clients' sensitive data secure, i.e. their bank accounts. And if a Safe Escrow transaction is ever successfully attacked by fraud, Safe Escrow assumes responsibility, so neither the agent nor your customer will ever suffer a loss. Pretty cool, huh? As I said before, the only risk of an interception of an email is prior to the transaction. So it's very careful that we scrutinize all emails in the transaction. They will have somehow changed some of the information on the transaction, typically in the email address, and often just a very slight change to the spelling of a name. So what else do we do? I mentioned we don't give the last 4 of our wiring instructions. Everybody has to call to get them. So we actually speak to somebody. Every email that comes out of our firm says the following phrase: please call before you wire to confirm wiring instructions with us. We highly recommend that that happen. If it's not happening somewhere that you're closing because you represent a buyer and can't choose us, then you need to make sure that that is occurring, because I tell you, when my client went through it, he was just sick to death after it happened. And even though in my heart of hearts, I believe it was not the fault of the attorneys at the title company. They were the ones the client was angry with because it happened in their transaction and on their watch. We also, as we're doing today, go out of our way to educate on this subject, you guys. And if your broker or your brokerage would allow us to come in and talk about fraud prevention to the realtors there, or want to do a Zoom call specifically to the folks in your office, we would love to do that. Additionally, at the conclusion, we're going to put this webinar up online so you can tell your friends to go listen to it so they can learn about how to prevent fraud in their transactions. Fraud has no place in the real estate transaction. I mean, we're bringing people's dreams come true with their new home, and think about how that dream will be if they suddenly realize that someone has absconded with the money they were using to buy it. Most of the people I know in these transactions do not have the funds to pay twice. So I wanted to tell you just a little bit more about Safe Escrow. It's built on an industry-leading technology platform housing a series of software-driven controls and permissions that ensure security and compliance. The system employs state-of-the-art banking controls with positive pay. Data is stored on redundant and encrypted servers. Encryption's important, y'all. Safe Escrow has been independently certified to comply with industry best practices. You know what I'm talking about. It's become a valuable tool for real estate agents to achieve Pillar 2 of the Alta best practices compliance in the area of escrow accounting and reporting. So it's helping you achieve your Alta pillars as well. Safe Escrow is integrated with eClosing, which is the software system that Rock Solid Law has been using for years. So being an early adapter of these progressive softwares has its advantages. And of course, we pass those advantages along to protect our realtors that we are fortunate enough to work with. And maybe most importantly, our mutual customer and client, the parties to the transaction. So real estate's hard enough for realtors, participating parties, lawyers, title agents. So we feel that it's important that we remove one more and more common stressor from your transactions. So my question to you is, if you want peace of mind in your real estate transactions, you want to sleep at night, Rock Solid Law and Safe Escrow is the answer. To thank you for your time today, I would like to offer you the opportunity to try us, and we will waive the closing fee for your selling customer. In order to do that, use the code Super Cyber Stoppers. Hope you like that. I came up with that all by myself. Super Cyber Stoppers. And we will be delighted to waive a closing fee for you. Are there any questions that I can try to answer about cyber fraud at this point in the presentation? Let's see exactly where it is. The chat bar is about right here on your screen, and there's also question and answers. I'll pause for a sip. And I will let you know that on October 8th, we will be offering a webinar on Guide Your Seller through our partners at First American Title. And this will be for continuing education credit for realtors. So for attending that one, you actually can get CE credit. You'll be hearing from us, but to learn more about that, feel free to contact Shelley. That's C-H-E-L-L-E, Shelley, at rocksolidlaw.com. I'm not seeing any questions. I can't believe that I was crystal clear trying to synthesize 2 FBI briefings, which I promise you went a lot longer than this workshop has. Fraud's out there, y'all. It's scary. It is intending to steal from our customers and clients. Together, working together, we can combat it, and I think we can beat it. Seeing no questions and knowing that you have important things to do with your day, I'm going to turn back on Lionel Richie and the Commodores for a minute, and we will fade out. Thanks for attending.